A Fox News poll just revealed that President Trump's approval rating is 11 points underwater, a sign that his support is sinking just days ahead of the 100-day mark. His approval rating is just 44%, down 5 points from just a month ago. And according to a new poll from the Harvard Kennedy School, young people's trust in all government institutions is declining, with Gen Z who are skeptical that the government will act in their best interests. They don't believe it. Why do you think they lost so much trust?
Yeah.
But that survey had a lot of data to unpack, which found that 15% of young Americans believe the country's headed in the wrong direction. 29% don't support Republicans, and only 23% support Democrats. So this is saying that this younger generation under me is just widely distrustful of institutions. And I understand why they are. So think of this. They came up in the COVID pandemic era of lockdowns. They came up when they, were being told information that said one thing. They were isolated, separated from their peers. They also grew up in the age of they always had cell phones and they always had social media. For all the traumas millennials went through, I am so grateful I didn't have to grow up with an algorithm that's meant to make me radicalized and hate people around me or to feel isolated
Insecure,
and bad about
depressed,
myself.
yeah.
It's a very hard time to be a young person in this country.
Yes.
And I think they also see they've only lived in the politics of division. Most of them were kids when Obama was president. They don't even remember George W. Bush. So they haven't seen normal politics. They haven't seen it modeled. So why should we expect them to trust our institutions or to trust our elected leaders?
The economy alone, so building off what you're saying, you look at what they're up against financially. The buying power of this generation is the lowest it's been for any of our generations.
Yeah.
What they're able to buy. The cost of college, when you talk about loan forgiveness, it's jumped 153% in the last 40 years. College is unattainable. And I don't know if just attacking the loan part is the problem here. Why are colleges that expensive? Like all the price, the housing prices, what they make, their wage has not kept up with the inflation and the cost of everything.
Right.
They are not going to be better off. Parents raise kids to say, I hope I can give my kid a better life. This generation is not getting a better life.
They're not.
They are climbing a mountain right now.
And we're talking about trust in government institutions, right? So we're talking about judicial, Congress, and the presidency.
Yeah.
They are living right now through a time where there's no checks and balances, where
Right.
the separation of power seems to mean nothing. This is also the generation, in addition to COVID, that has lived through now true Trump terms.
Yeah.
They saw January 6th when they were teenagers. They saw the president be impeached twice. They saw the former president be indicted and convicted and reelected.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going through two wars that even though American soldiers are not involved, America is involved in Ukraine and the Middle East. So the wonder I have is how 23% still trust this president. And you know what else? This president and this administration is attacking universities. They're attacking freedom of speech.
Right.
They're attacking freedom of assembly. They are dragging international students out. So they're seeing their colleagues, their classmates be, rounded up and told not to come back to this country. There's visas that are being denied. There's grants to those universities that are being canceled. There are researchers in places like Harvard and universities that are being detained by ICE and deported out of this country. So again, I ask, how do 20-some% still have trust?
What do you think about that? Who is this 23%?
I'm raising two Gen Zers, right?
Yeah.
My daughter's 18. She's at Cornell. My son is 22. He's graduating from Harvard in May. So I won't be paying as much money as I've been paying, because I agree with you, Sarah. The cost of college education is so much higher than it needs to be. I think we should have free higher education in this country, actually. And I see it for myself. I do see that they question everything. And I think a significant part of the reason that they question everything is because everyone is an expert on TikTok. They think that their Google JD is the equivalent of my 30-plus years of being a barred attorney, And so I think part of it is that. I think part of it is fake news and the misinformation that is prolific everywhere. But the one silver lining that I saw in my research is that NBC is reporting that polling averages and research from the Washington Post and the New York Times say that since the dawn of modern-day American polling research, no president has polled worse than President Trump at this point in his term.
Right, that's true.
In modern history. So that tells me that what they are seeing, they are reacting to. They don't like what they are
Right.
seeing. And I think this generation, Generation Z, they're voting age, many of them. I think they're going to help save our country.
Let's
You know
hope
what?
so.
Kudos to
All right.
Harvard for fighting back.
Yes.